All right, let's peel back the curtain on a hidden world of vampire politics. A place where ancient evils are literally lurking right under our feet, and the fate of an entire city is just hanging by a thread. This is a story of backstabbing, betrayal, and the kind of fragile alliances that only happen when you're facing total annihilation.
So picture this. You've got this secret meeting of Portland's immortal elite. They're all trying to pretend that everything's stable in a city that's about to completely collapse. And then, bam, that one accusation just shatters the whole illusion. This is the spark that lights the fuse, and it's really where our story kicks off.
The woman at the center of this whole storm, her name is Angela. She's the fierce leader of the Anarchs, and her target is the city's brand new prince, who just so happens to be her sworn enemy. Now, to really get the full weight of this showdown, we need to understand the world these people live in.
So, welcome to the secret underbelly of Portland, a city that's actually governed by a hidden society of vampires. And look, this isn't just some random group of bloodsuckers. No, this is a super complex world with its own rigid laws, factions at war with each other, and ancient grudges playing out in the shadows.
In this world, the title prince has nothing to do with royalty. It's a declaration of absolute power. The prince is the judge, the jury, and if it comes down to it, the executioner for every vampire in their city. And right now in Portland, that seat of power is on some seriously shaky ground.
This here really captures the main conflict in the vampire world. On one side, you've got the Camarilla. Think of them as the old-school aristocratic establishment, the Ivory Tower. They're obsessed with secrecy and control. On the other side, the Anarchs. They're the rebels, the revolutionaries fighting for freedom from all those stuffy old traditions. These guys aren't just political rivals. They're on opposite sides of a war that's been going on for centuries.
And as if a Cold War between vampire factions wasn't enough to deal with, Portland itself is in a total freefall. Their leader? Vanished. Gone without a trace. Then, a massive 9.4 earthquake just rips the city apart. And to top it all off, there are these whispers. Whispers about some slumbering, godlike vampire that's starting to wake up.
So, with all this apocalyptic stuff going on, who do the powers that be send to fix it? Not their A-team, that's for sure. Not the city's elite. Nope. They send in a motley crew of outcasts. Basically a disposable team of misfits to figure out what's going on.
And here they are, described perfectly by the people who play them. You've got a douchey DJ cultist, a biker from Detroit who's the muscle, an arrogant blue blood who thinks he's better than everyone, a visionary who's having horrible visions, and an emotionally stunted occult scholar who's the nerd of the group. What a team, right? Totally dysfunctional, but, you'll see, surprisingly capable.
So, our team of outcasts tries to warn the new prince about this massive threat they've found. But while they're giving their official presentation in some boring boardroom, the real info, the stuff that actually matters, is being traded in whispers out in the shadows. And it's painting two very different pictures of what's about to happen.
I mean, this is a classic political trap. Inside, the city's leaders are busy fighting the last war. They're totally focused on their old rivalry with the Anarchs and just dismiss the real threat as mystical gibberish. But outside, away from all the posturing, the terrifying truth is getting pieced together, one whispered warning at a time.
And this quote from a city elder named Frederick, it just says it all. It's a perfect example of the establishment's arrogance and denial. When they're faced with a threat that doesn't fit into their neat little political boxes, their first instinct is just to dismiss it and go back to their comfortable old squabbles.
And that brings us right back to the beginning, to Angela's explosive entrance. See, she's not just crashing a party. She is shattering the illusion of control and forcing every single powerful vampire in that room to finally look at the massive problem they've been so desperately trying to ignore.
What happens next is a total masterclass in political maneuvering. Angela's accusation forces a public debate, and that gives our team the opening they need to present their chilling evidence. All of a sudden, the ancient rivalry between the Camarilla and the Anarchs doesn't seem so important anymore. And in a pretty shocking twist, our team of outcasts gets put in charge of the whole investigation.
So, where does that leave our heroes? Well, they've got an impossible mission, a truth that could fall apart at any moment, and the weight of the entire city resting on their shoulders.
And here's the real trick. Their mission isn't just about slaying some monster, it's a balancing act. They have to navigate the treacherous politics of their bosses, managing egos and ambitions that are honestly just as dangerous as any ancient evil.
One wrong move, and they could be fighting a war on two fronts.
Which really leaves us with this one critical question. In a world of immortal schemers who've been playing this game for centuries, is a common enemy ever really enough to create true unity? Or is it all just another move on the chessboard? A temporary ceasefire before the next inevitable betrayal?